Hey everyone, it is Jaha Zainabu. I hope that you are well. Thank you for tuning in again. This is Storytime with Jaha Zainabu 8. Wow. So I said yesterday that I would begin the story times with just a story. So I'll begin with a story, and then I'll go into what I'm going to do today. The story I'm going to tell today, quickly, is a story that is in my one of my ebooks, and it is in the ebook Deep Down Memory Lane, and it's a short story. The story in the ebook is entitled "Jews for Jesus." So I'm in third grade, and 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would make me about 7 years old. And I'm in the church that I grew up in Long Beach, and it's night service. So for this particular night service, they have a guest group join us, and the group is called Jews for Jesus. For some reason, the Jews for Jesus guy wanted all the children to sit in the first 2 rows on the left side. Okay, whatever. So we do that. So the children are sitting in the front. The adults are behind us on the left side. Is it left side, right side? On the other side, the deacons are seated where they are usually seated. And so the guy said to the girls only, I don't know why, to the girls only, how many of you girls dream of getting married one day, having being a wife and having children, having a family? Some girls raised their hands, some didn't. I didn't. So he said, and he seemed shocked that all of the girls didn't, all of us didn't have our hands raised. So there was a particular deacon, I won't call his name. There was a particular deacon who seemed particularly like enraged about it. Like, motherfucker, why are you so worried? Okay. But he was mad about it. So he said, all of the girls should have their hands raised, or they are lying. They are liars if their hands aren't up. And even at 7 years old, I was like, motherfucker, damn. Right? Is it that serious? I don't think that Jesus gives that much a fuck. But okay. So I raised my hands. So to this day, I have no clue as to why Deacon XXX was so, his panties were so in a bunch about our hands being raised. And that's the story. See, all that to say, the stories don't have to be deep and profound. They don't have to be long and drawn out. Just a quick story, just something that shows up in my memory. The story I'm going to read a story today, also from Deep Down Memory Lane, my ebook. And the story I'm choosing to read today, I might read another one too. Who knows? Just hang in there with me. And the noise in the background is my washing machine, and it tends to act like and sound like it doesn't feel like doing its damn job. But it is fine. No one is crashing through my back door. The story is called Safe House Stories. So I'll just jump in. I worked at a safe house for women and children back in 2004. I was the director of the children's program. I created and supervised their activities and ran the Mommy and Me classes. I learned so much during that time about people and personalities. So much about how children learn and imitate the people who care for them. Keisha was one of the children in the program. She was a 3-year-old grown-up black girl from Lake Charles, Louisiana. She had dark chocolate skin that looked smooth as a marble, wore her hair in 3 ponytails, and had a mouth too smart for any 3-year-old. One day, she was in the play area over by the steps playing house. Me. Keisha, what are you doing over there? Keisha, cooking greens? I got all this to do before Tanya and them come over tonight. Keisha, in disgust, then threw her pretend spoon down and stormed over to Michael, a 2-year-old white boy from Arkansas who barely even spoke. Michael was playing basketball alone. Keisha, in Michael's face, look, I've been in this house cooking all day and working hard and carrying on, and you out here shooting baskets like it's the business? What you think this is, huh? What you gonna do? Michael, teacher! One rainy day, when the children played inside, Keisha sat at the arts and crafts table with Michael and Tony, a Mexican 3-year-old boy from Tijuana. Keisha dealt them all playing cards. Michael and Tony counted their cards and threw them across the table. Keisha had her cards fanned out as if she was a professional card player. Keisha, I got 2 books. What you got? After playing cards, Keisha and Michael raced toy cars. Michael had the red one and Keisha had the blue one that kept coming apart and coming in last. Michael went to the restroom, and when he returned, his car was gone. Me. Keisha, do you have Michael's car? Keisha, no, his car got towed. Listen. Randy and Teresa were 2 other children in the program. They were brother and sister, ages 3 and 4. They came to the shelter with their mother, Becca, mid-October from Texas. They showed up in the middle of the night with stories from Dallas to Los Angeles all over their faces. It takes a special kind of person to work in domestic violence shelters. I don't seem to be one of them. I spent almost the whole time I was there trying to save everybody, donating my clothes to the women, some of my son's clothes and toys, working more overtime than was healthy for me. I treated those women and children like part of my family. But just as quickly as they came, they left. No goodbye, just gone. Becca, Randy, and Teresa left like that. One day, Randy and Teresa were playing house in the backyard in the children's area. Randy, Teresa, you get your fucking ass in this damn house, you fucking bitch. Teresa, what do you want, you fucking asshole? Randy, what do you think I want, you bitch? My fucking food on the table, you stupid whore. Teresa, I didn't have time to cook no stupid food today, you asshole. And at that point, Randy locked Teresa out of the house and pretended to throw all of her clothes out. Me, Teresa, come here, sweetheart. Teresa, what, you black fucking nigger bitch? One day in November, I came to work not knowing what to expect. Carmen called me the night before and told me that 2 clients had left and 2 more had come in. Both new ones had babies under 2 years old. I was sad to hear that the 2 families who left were my favorites. Monica, Mexican, 54, with 4 children, Hector, 16, Annalisa, 13, Luca, 12, and Junior, 9. All very bright and had witnessed way too much for their young lives. Especially Annalisa, who had too many hats to wear. Mother to her siblings, and often even to her mother. Daughter, friend, cook, disciplinarian, teacher, translator, and up until about 2 weeks before she and her family came to the house, wife to her father. I knew that it was only a matter of time before the house would be too much for all of them. The women in the house tended to gang up on the new families, especially the ones that didn't speak English. They bullied them into kitchen duties, took their money and other belongings, and picked on their children. Some fought back, some didn't. Many left, deciding that it was just easier being on the streets. And sometimes it was. I hated seeing them go. I had hoped that we could help Monica and her family. There were so many families that came and went. I never settled with the fact that we couldn't help them all. Once, during a weekly team meeting, we discussed some of the clients in the house. I was nervous about this particular meeting because we discussed one of the clients that I had grown pretty attached to, Isabella. Isabella had 5 children. Martin, 17, Lupe and Lola, 15, Michael and Ricardo, 3. She was a woman with intelligent children, but she was low functioning, according to her files, and according to her files, made very poor judgments. I never liked those kinds of titles. Well, we had to decide whether we were going to let her into a transitional home. Now, the transitional homes were apartments where the clients with children got their own apartments. The single mothers shared apartments. It was a good deal, though, because the women got up to 2 years to get their lives together and get a place of their own. The monthly rent they paid was based on their income. At the end of the 2 years, when they were ready for their own apartments, they got all the money back. Many didn't make it, but some did. Isabella was a 45-year-old woman who dressed and tried to look like a 16-year-old girl. She never had her own place with her children. Never. They lived in cars, shelters, and with family. Their last situation before they came to our shelter was with a perverted uncle. She wasn't compliant with the case plans in our various departments. I wanted to vote that we accept her, but I didn't want her to get into the apartment and then continue being non-compliant with the rules and then get herself and the children put out. She often imitated a young girl when she was uncomfortable, which was on that day at the meeting before the team. She came in wearing a soft pink terry cloth jogging suit and had her bleached blonde hair up in 2 ponytails and blue butterfly pins. She had on pink lipstick and blue eyeshadow. She was even sucking on a lollipop. And she had on blue contacts. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I promise I won't be non-compliant again. I promise. I'm trying to get my life together. I'm trying to get a job and take care of my kids and everything. She hadn't worked since the 80s, though. And when the staff asked her what she planned to do for work, she said, well, I don't know. I want a good job, a real good one. I don't want to be working at no McDonald's or no Walmart or nothing like that. That was not what the team wanted to hear. I didn't think she would be accepted into the transitional home. Toward the end of November, one of the clients came into the house after curfew, drunk. It just happened that Carmen, an off-duty staff member, was there. If she had not been there, Mary, a very petite and older staff member, would have been on duty alone for 2 hours. Kathy was very surprised when she found out that Carmen was there. We noticed that the clients would take advantage of Mary because they felt they could intimidate her. And they did. Carmen wouldn't let Kathy in the house that night, and then Kathy got loud. We had already had problems with the neighbors not wanting us to be there. And Kathy, whether drunk or not, knew what she was doing. Carmen let her in the house and escorted her up to her room to get her things and told her that she was going to have to leave the house that night. And whatever your state of sobriety, you were not going to punk Carmen. 5'10", thick, social worker, black woman who knew all the tricks of shelter living. While Kathy packed her belongings and Carmen was distracted, another client unlocked the back door while another one went into the kitchen and got a knife and pulled it on Mary, the staff member. The police were called. Mary wasn't hurt, just scared. I had hoped there would be an easy solution to this situation, but life. Some of the women who had been approved for the transitional, some of the women had been approved for the transitional homes. Isabella and her children were one of the families. This would be the first time they had ever lived in an apartment by themselves. Ever. The house directors had a meeting and decided 3 days before Thanksgiving that they would clear the house, the whole house, empty the house because of the situation with Kathy the night before. Everybody had to go. Everybody. The families who had been approved of transitional homes too. All of them had to find other shelters to go to, family members who would take them in, go back on the street, whatever. Just had to go. And all of this would happen the very next day. I knew this and tossed and turned the whole night. I had grown attached to the children and some of the mothers. They were women with problems and just needed a chance, I thought. Well, in the children's program the next morning, instead of adding glitter to the Thanksgiving Day cards, we packed up their belongings. I cried the whole way through. I held on to babies as one by one the mothers snatched them out of my arms, screaming at me as if I had everything to do with what happened. Give me my motherfucking baby, bitch. And how was I supposed to turn over a child to someone screaming at me for her motherfucking baby? And had no place to go. But I had to. So when the children left, I sat in my chair and cried and prayed. And then Lupe, Isabella's 15-year-old daughter, walked into my office. She just sat there. No tears. And you thought a sad, crying teenager was something to see. Try seeing one who had cried out all of her tears. She looked at me, and I told her that I had nothing to do with it and how sorry I was, as if that helped. Lupe was such an incredible writer and had a story that would inspire anyone. Before they moved to that shelter, the 5 of them were living in a car downtown Los Angeles. She would do her homework in the middle of the night while her family slept. She said that she got her stories from staying up late, watching the crack addicts out of her bedroom window. Her bedroom was the front seat of the car parked downtown. Then she would go to school and get picked on by the students and some of the teachers. I didn't know what else to say to her. I asked her to promise me that she would not stop writing. She looked at me. And then slowly, she told me that 2 days before was the happiest day of her whole life. She went to Target with her family. They bought a broom, a mop, and 2 pots for their apartment that they would be moving into just 3 days away. 3 days. Their first apartment. Their first time living alone. No perverted uncles. No more living in cars. No more shelters. Their place. And then this. So no, she said, I can't promise you that I will keep writing. But I do promise you and cross my heart that I will never be homeless again, even if it means that I have to go to jail. And she hugged me, wiped my tears, and then left. And I think about her so often. Like, I wonder what happened to her and her family. It breaks my heart. I hope that she is well. I'm going to share another story while I'm here from what is the book? I just said it. Deep Down Memory Lane. So I'm going to share another one because I feel like it. This one is called Growing Up on the West Side. Let's see. When Marvin Camper died, it was June of 2013. I lived in Los Angeles then, and I found out the day after he died while scrolling on Facebook. I saw the comments about him, and they sent me down memory lane. I thought about my life and how I grew up on the west side of Long Beach, California. It was a remarkable time. We played games together like freeze tag, hide go get it, and Red Rover. We had relay races and played kickball in the street on Taper. I had slumber parties at my house about every other week on Friday nights. I lived on Cameron around the corner, but my grandparents lived on Taper. The neighborhood kids bagged on each other. Nothing and no one was off limits. Your mama so skinny she could hula hoop in a Fruit Loop. Your daddy so broke he can't pay attention. Your brother head so big he fall over when he tie his shoes. But it was all good. The harder the insult, the more love you had. The campers had that dog that got out of their gate and chased us through the neighborhood. J&J Market was the corner store. None of us understood why it was closed on Wednesdays. Everybody's mama shopped at Alpha Beta. We sat cross-legged on Tara's porch with our tight jeans and collar shirts with alligator tags. The girls wore Sassoon, Jordache, and Gloria Vanderbilt jeans with jellies shoes. Tara had all the colors. The boys wore Levi's and members-only jackets. We caused havoc in the streets. We ran across my grandfather's perfect grass, even though we knew he didn't like it. Tara's mother, Carrie, had that lemon tree we shook. Mrs. Green had those pink roses we took. Seti and the boys chased the girls home from John Muir Elementary after school every day. We ran fast as we could, still hoping they would catch us. There was also the Springdale crew, my cousin Merle and his boys. They went to Webster Elementary, and sometimes there were fights between the two schools. And after the fights, we went to the store and bought pickles that we mixed with Fritos. One day, when Tara and I were walking home from school, Melvin pulled a real gun on us. We were all only in the 4th grade. He told us to freeze and hold our hands high like in the movies. Tara didn't hold her hands up. She yelled and told him no. I was afraid. My hands went up quickly. Silverado Park was the neighborhood mecca. It was middle ground between John Muir and Webster schools. There we were Pop Warner babies. The boys were little footballers and the girls were cheerleaders who shook our baby booties in green and gold skirts. During cheer practice, the girls would yell as signal to the men who were shooting dice on the wall that the police were coming. Kissing contests were by the bleachers, and we went swimming there and had free lunches in the summer. We were the meaning of neighborhood. Tara and Melvin used to go together. Everett and I held hands once in the 6th grade. He gave me a necklace he took from his mother. In high school, Jerome got shot in a drive-by outside of Poly High and left us too soon. Nipa turned backflips and tried to teach us how. Lolo's dad, Donald James, and my dad were best friends. I hung with Sonia, Monique, and Tara. Everybody better speak to Mrs. Jones sitting on her porch before she tell. And the high schools were Poly, Milliken, and Wilson. The junior high schools were Bancroft, Hughes, Stevens, and Hoover. And those Hoover girls could really play basketball. We didn't all go to school together, but we all hung on the block. We were our own reality show. My mother took the neighborhood girls to drive-in movies. We played tetherball in my backyard. My father built the best backyard tree houses. Carrie cooked those special breakfasts on Saturdays, and we were packed in the living room with our paper plates loaded with love. We're growing up now with children and grandchildren of our own. And so much has changed, and so much is still the same. My mother is still there, my sister, and now my brother-in-law too. Tara's parents, Carrie and Jerry, passed away. So did Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Williams, and Mrs. Green too. Nepa, Tara, and I moved away. Many of us did. Melvin passed away. Randy Collins died in the Gulf War. Taper Street will always have special memories. We don't see each other often, but we reconnected that day in June of 2013 in the comment section of Marvin Camper's Facebook page. We perused pictures of him with his family, his wife, mother, brothers, children. We took a moment that day in our separate homes to remember Marvin and celebrate his and our lives, and remember growing up on the West Side. There were sweet moments to growing up. You can tell sweet stories. You know, I'm having fun with Deep Down Memory Lane. I'm going to share this one. This one is called Spilled Milk. Spilled milk. That's my heart. This morning, I don't know what year I wrote this. This morning, I woke up thinking about a time when Urias was about 4 months old. And we were going with my family to Las Vegas to celebrate my stepfather's birthday. We were all in my mom's SUV. I did not know my status as bipolar 1 at that time, but looking back, I was rapidly cycling between mania and depression. On top of that, I was experiencing postpartum depression. Additionally, at that time for work, I was babysitting my friend's newborn twins. Her sons were a month older than Urias, and I was not being paid the rate anyone should be paid to babysit twin newborns. I wasn't even being paid the friends and family rate. She paid me $100 a month. Whatever. Even one time she said, "I do pay you a whole $100. It's laughable now, but it wasn't then. Also, my relationship with my son's dad was ending. It was a lot. We were on our way to Vegas, and we were almost at the hotel. Somehow, my milk for Urias spilled in my bag, and I lost it. Emotionally, it sent me everywhere. I don't remember what I said, but I lashed out at my mother and just created an awkward mood for everyone. I was literally crying over spilled milk. When I could get my mother alone, I apologized for my outburst, but she didn't want to hear it. Not that I blame her. I mean, from her perspective, it was milk, and there I was, acting like my life was over. I didn't know how to explain to anyone what I was going through. I didn't understand it myself. When Urias and I got to the room, my sister, who had just had a baby herself, brought me some milk. I remember her handing it to me like, "Here, dang, it's just milk." And to her, it was just milk. But to me, my life was ending. Or at least, I wanted it to be. That's the thing about bipolar brains. Everything could be a life or death situation. I was dealing with so much and didn't know how I was going to get out of any of it. The room Urias and I were in had 2 full beds. One was for us and the other was for my mom and my stepfather. Before Richard, my stepfather, got into the room, I was standing in front of the window. I just stood there, looking out. My mental clouds were dark, and when Richard came into the room, I went to bed and cried uncontrollably. I cried for feeling worthless as a mother and a human, for failing as a daughter again, for another relationship going bad, for the climate, for the children in Africa. Everything I could think of was worth bawling about. I tried to be as quiet as I could, but he could still hear me. He didn't say anything to me, though. And when my mother came in the room, he told her that I had been crying. She didn't say anything to me either. That made me sad, too. Maybe they didn't know what to say. Maybe they were upset. I don't know. I mean, it was Richard's birthday and the family was all together, and there I was acting like that. I think this memory came up today because yesterday I posted a picture on Instagram of the gas gauge in my car. It was on E and the gas light was on. I posted a caption that said, "Kinda how I feel." And this morning I saw a comment on the photo that said, "Ain't nothing a little cash can't cure." And the person who posted the comment is an acquaintance. And the comment was posted with all the best intentions, and she is right. But she doesn't know that I am living in a hotel and paying rent by the day and tired from working like crazy. She doesn't know that it takes everything I have not to lose my mind, literally. She doesn't know how that yellow gaslight almost sent me spiraling. She doesn't know when I saw the comment, I was back in that hotel in Vegas, crying over spilled milk. That's the thing, like, we don't, you never know what somebody is going through, ever. You never know what somebody is going through, especially when you think you know what somebody is going through. You don't. It is just best to be kind. Because what does it cost us to be kind? You know, you don't know what will trigger somebody. And my washing machine is showing out, right? But I hope that you can hear me, because I feel like going on. Yeah, I do. I'm going to read this one. This one is called Trent. Trent. The first boy I really liked, and who really liked me, I never met. His name was Trent, and he went to school in Compton. I went to school in Long Beach. Trent was a good friend of my best friend at the time, named Drish. She introduced us by phone my senior year of high school. Trent and I talked every night until we didn't. I was a church girl growing up. I knew a lot of people at school, but I was in no way considered popular. My name, given at birth, is Robin. I was quiet, reserved, often afraid of not being enough, of being too much. I was skinny, pretty enough, but mostly average looking, I guess, an okay student. But Trent didn't know any of that. He only knew Robin. Trent was very popular at his school. He was a star basketball player who everyone was sure would play professionally someday. He had a big personality. He was fun to be around, but I didn't know any of that. I only knew Trent. I had never heard of Trent before Drish introduced us. When we talked, we shared our dreams and stories. I never talked about church or school. He never talked about basketball or going pro. We created a space that was ours alone. With him, I was funny and free. I talked about art and my stories. I saw myself as beautiful, probably for the very first time. Trent, who was usually the life of the party, was quiet with me, almost shy. He didn't have to be on, and there was no pressure for him to be the star. He listened, and he cared. One night, while Trent was driving, a man carjacked him. Then he pulled out a gun and shot Trent in the head and killed him. We loved our space, that bubble we created. As much fun as we had talking on the phone every night, we were never in a rush to see each other. I mean, there was really no space or circumstance where we could be together, where we could be as free as we were on the phone. We thought there would be plenty of time for that, and so we waited until we couldn't. I didn't ask to go to the funeral. I mean, no way. Was the only time I saw his face was when he was lying in a casket. I just kept the pieces of him he gave me quietly to myself. I still think about him. I think about the way he made me laugh and open up. It's so funny, you know, the first time I felt seen by someone was by someone who never saw me at all. That was Trent. I hope that you are well today. Let me see what I'm going to read. I'm going to read, I don't know why it keeps going black like that. Maybe because I'm too close to the camera. I am going to read a story. I don't know why I'm talking to you like you're children, but the story is called My Journey Through Depression. Some of these stories I pulled from my blog. And just, I mentioned before in another story time that I blog every day. There have been a few blogs, and this is from an older blog that I no longer use. And when I blog, I usually only post the first or second draft, and then I, make them better, and I keep those in my files. So this story came from one of the blogs. So it was written somewhere around 2019, maybe 2019. And it's called My Journey Through Depression. It's 7:00, and I am at home. At the place I am calling home right now. It's temporary, but isn't everything temporary? That's the good thing about people who live with depression. We know it's all temporary. We know it's all right now. Right now, I am sitting on the couch in the living room, and the sun is shining through the blinds, reminding me that I am still here. I'm at my cousin's house. I have family. I have food, work, friends, talent, and some money on my EBT card. The guy at the gas station even said I was beautiful. All this to say that I am blessed. But what does that even mean? Blessed. Is it like lucky? Is it like favored? Because I don't think I'm favored or lucky. I am certainly not too blessed to be stressed. I'm just here living with this monster in my head, this thing called depression. Some people call it a flood. And I get that because it is kind of like drowning. Only kind of, because the sinking, is slower. It's more like quicksand to me. The going under is not as visible to others. Some see, but they don't know what they're looking at. They don't know if it's real. So They convince themselves it's not really happening, or if it is happening, it's not that bad, or it will go away, or you or I will go away. But at least it will be gone, and they can go on about their lives like an incredible vanishing didn't happen inside of their witness. I don't call it a flood. People act like if it's not Katrina, then it's not that bad. Then it's not a big flood. Your thing, my thing, is not that bad because it's invisible. Like we should just stop bothering the rest of the world with it. And I hate that. I hate that when people list how hard it is to deal with some medical condition and then tell you, see, this is bad. This is hard. This is a bad day. If you can't sit your depression next to stage 4 cancer, then yours is not that bad. As if these pills won't go down. As if jumping off a bridge won't kill me. As if I haven't picked one out. Like I don't live with voices telling me how worthless I am. Like I don't work like the devil to put on a happy face to make you smile. Like my blues ain't blue. I don't say that your thing ain't a real thing with edges and teeth and a throat. That it ain't that bad. Just because you can't see mine, don't tell me my thing ain't a thing with toenails that poke. A thing with sticks and stones. I'm getting mad all over. Anyway, I don't call it a flood. I call it a cloud. More like clouds. They come out of nowhere. They are a summer rain in Georgia. They come stealth as a hungry cat. They are as unapologetic as a good cussing out. One minute I'm living my life, minding my own black ass business, and the next I can't find the sun. I know it's coming. It's like having a menstrual cycle when I had a menstrual cycle. There were those awful days when I would vomit everywhere and the cramps I thought and wished would kill me. The heavy bleeding for a week, and then just like that, I could wear white pants again. But I knew not to get too comfortable because Mary was coming back. Same here. Except not every 28 days. Except no blood or vomiting. Except nothing a doctor could put her finger on. Except not something that would just go away in my 40s. Shout out to early menopause, by the way. I have triggers. There are things I know will make the clouds come quicker. I do. And I avoid the ones I can, but some are impossible to avoid, so I deal the best I can. Big triggers for me are jobs where I have to clock in, and I have a boss and coworkers standing over me monitoring my every move. I have never been able to be successful in those types of environments. I need breaks that last longer than 15 minutes. I have insomnia, so I need to not have to be there at 8. I need privacy while I'm dealing with the clouds, the tears I can't control or explain, my need to sit for a minute or however long it takes, the need for space to just be without eyes on me, without customers complaining. Thankfully, I have some talent as a writer and painter, and I have enough love and patience to be a caregiver. Even living as an artist, I have my days when dealing in this world is a hard thing for me. Even as a caregiver, I must do it on my own terms. I have my own clients who I get through word of mouth. I can't work with agencies for so many reasons. Note to self, write that piece on home health agencies. So work is a trigger, so I am careful about the work I take. Then there are relationships. There are many kinds of relationships, of course, and the ones that matter take work. For me, the trick has been finding that person I'm willing to do the work with, and that person willing to do the work with me. not trying to fix me or getting mad when the fixes don't work, not expecting me to be the kind of normal that exists in their heads. About 20 years ago, I dated this guy. And during our breakup conversation, he sat at the kitchen table and I told him that the relationship was unhealthy for me. He told me that it wasn't that the relationship was unhealthy for me, but I was leaving because I was a runner. Because clearly I need a motherfucker mansplaining why I was leaving his toxic ass. And after that conversation, I left. I had given it a go for over a year and I couldn't do it anymore. On some level, he was right though. I do run when it gets unhealthy for me, and I'm pretty proud of that. The other option is to what? Die there pretending to be happy? Fuck that. Deuces. With romantic relationships, I just leave. And often quickly. With family, though, I shut down. It takes me a long time with family because to me, family is worth it. It is worth the effort. I spend a lot of time trying to communicate, trying to change, accept, be nice, and just deal. At some point, though, it just starts to feel like I'm auditioning for acceptance I'm never going to get. Some people will have perceptions about me I can't do anything about. I continue to love, though, but I stopped the dance. All that dancing and movement is fodder for the voices in my head that already are telling me how ain't shit I am. Running has saved my life good as God. Triggers are all around. Relationships, work, family, food. Yes, food too, because eating healthy food is important for good mental health. But McDonald's has that dollar menu and Whole Foods does not. Exercise is important too. But there's a lot of not exercising because just taking a shower feels impossible when I'm depressed. The biggest trigger, the one I can't avoid, is being while black. Being black while anything. Being a mother, American artist, shopper at Ralph's Market, sitter on a park bench, driver, news watcher, airline passenger, patient in a hospital, name it. All the looks. Add the clouds to that and I could barely even breathe. The first time I remember the clouds coming, I was in early middle school. We called it junior high school back then. I was home and I went into my sister's room and I asked her if she ever got sad for no reason. That was me trying to reach out, trying to find words for the clouds. I was a child trying to explain something I still don't have words for. All these years later, I still don't have more than just clouds. I don't remember my sister's response. She is 4 years younger than I, so I don't know if she even understood. I don't know if she understands now. It is hard to tell my family that months go by with me thinking about killing myself every day. That would be hard for me to hear too. I don't know if they know how to deal with that side of me. I think it's just easier for me and for them if I come around when I have a happy face. The truth is, it's not easier for me. When I'm down, they are the people I want to be around. I want to be able to explain what I'm feeling. I can't, though. Not in words that make sense. I know they love me and they want to see me happy, and maybe it's frustrating that there is no easy fix, if there is a fix at all. My official diagnosis is bipolar 1, so in addition to the crippling depression, I also have manic episodes. And if you thought I was bad at explaining depression, wait until you hear me Forrest Gump my way through trying to explain the mania. I have had manic episodes with my family, but they didn't know what was going on. I didn't either. I am most afraid of those episodes. I'll take the depression any day over those. During the manic spells, I'm loud and I go too far with everything, with jokes, tears, body movements, words. During these spells, I try to be alone. I'm not physically violent, but I do cause harm. So When I can, I isolate myself. And then I crash. And then I'm in an even deeper depression. I don't trust myself around my meds when I'm like that. I don't trust myself to not take all the pills. I have taken too many pills before. Obviously, I woke up, but a whole day later. I missed a whole day. This happened when I was living out in Pomona. I stopped taking my meds cold turkey shortly after that. Haven't been back on them since, which brings me here, sitting on my cousin's couch, fighting through another depression cycle. I don't look like it. I rarely look like it. Shit, I'm Jaha motherfucking high. I stay fly. I don't know what triggered this bout of depression. I'm going on a couple of months without my meds. I have never successfully gone that long without my meds since I have been on them. I wished and I prayed hard that the clouds were gone forever. And when they didn't come back after a month, I was like, bet. I was walking around like I had cured cancer. Then that feeling came back. That sinking feeling that has me relate to other depressed people who call their depression a flood. I'm not at that place right now where voices nag me. I'm not feeling suicidal. And let me say here that feeling suicidal has never been about me wanting to die. I don't want to die. I know that I have a lot to live for. I just don't want to live in that kind of pain. I don't want to live with my brain pushing me to harm myself. I don't want to live my life crying uncontrollably. I don't want to feel like America's next ninja just because I took a shower or brushed my teeth. I have never expected life to be easy, but not like that either. Hear me. I don't want to die. I just want to live differently. Tuesday, after next, I will turn 50 years old. I didn't think I would see this birthday. When my son and I were out in Pomona, it was a dangerous time for me emotionally. The voices, thoughts, clouds, everything. It was hard. I even felt like my own doctor had given up on me. My psychiatrist had given me all the pills he could, and they just didn't work. Finally, he told me that I should have electric shock therapy. Like I'm really going to do that. I left his office, and days later I called my doctor's assistant and asked if he would schedule me to see a therapist, someone I could talk to. Maybe that would help. He said that he could do that, but he needed to know what I was going to talk about, and that sounded weird to me. I don't know, I'm talking about it. That's what he said, yeah, I can't let you in unless I know what you're going to say. And I yelled at him, and to my surprise, he yelled back. I told him, that's okay. I'll just find a bridge to jump off of. And I hung up. And the medical facility never called back. Never. For all they know, I did indeed find that bridge. Maybe they were glad to be rid of me. When I decided to stop taking my meds, a part of me thought that I would just be gone. Then something happened. Somehow I started feeling better, feeling lighter. The house we were renting was sold and we had to move. And that wasn't a big blow to me because for the first time in a long time, I felt alive. Like I could handle anything. And I don't know how or why I felt so alive, but I did. Maybe because there was serious business in front of me and not being emotionally there was just not an option. I don't know. Well, we stayed in hotels, motels, and paid rent by the day. I was hustling art, poetry, and taking care of old people. I don't know how we were making it, but we were. And I was still unmedicated. We always had money. We always had food. We were always in a safe and clean spot. There was a lot going on, but I fought through the clouds. A while ago, I got a ticket for being on my cell while driving, and I couldn't afford the ticket, and my license got suspended. That's the current trigger. I'm living in Palmdale and working in Los Angeles. The commute is about an hour and 20 minutes one way. Driving around the city is stressful because cops are everywhere. Thankfully, now we are staying with my cousin, but I still have to get a place. It's easier for me to live in LA because most of my life and work are there, but getting into a place without paperwork that says I make 3 times the rent is challenging, to say the least. Triggers abound. But I'm going to make it. Making it for me looks like getting into another mental health facility, in therapy, and in a home of my own. And if I can avoid staying off meds, I will. Maybe there is some natural path for me. I don't know. If not, I ain't scared of going back on them. I'm just out here trying to stay sane. And now, my day is passing me by, and I am still on this couch, riding through these clouds. They will clear. I know they will. I no longer see myself as someone who suffers from depression. I'm a survivor. Sure, the clouds still come, but they don't defeat me. They don't knock me out. I'm proud of myself for being a good mother despite all of this. Living with depression, I still lived from my art, which is pretty badass, I think. So I still lived from my art. I still worked. I still showed up in the world as a good human being. And I didn't have a lot of help. I had very little help. Very few people advocating for me. I had V, I had Sequoia helping me find resources. I had Valerie to talk to about my darkest days when I felt the ocean was right at my neck. And I'm here. I'm still here, surviving well. Yeah, I remember the day I wrote that. I remember sitting on my cousin's couch in Palmdale. I remember being thankful for the break from the hotels. We were at my cousin's house for about a month. And I remember being thankful for the break. You know, the everyday, the rent being due the very next day. I remember being thankful for that. At that time, I still wasn't on meds. And may I suggest, if you are living with depression, going off your meds cold turkey is not the bomb. It's not easy. It's not suggested. It's not recommended. It's not. So I did do that more than once, and it wasn't easy either time I did it. I'm doing it now. I haven't been on my meds since I moved to Atlanta a year ago. You can do it, but you have to have something that you put in place there. It's like when you choose not to vaccinate your child. You can do that, but you have to put something in place. Like you have to give them some kind of natural path. I don't know what that thing is called, but you don't just decide, you know what, fuck it. I'm just not gonna take my meds and fuck it. I'll get better. So for me, I try to control the episodes with my diet, with controlling my stress, with taking naps when I need to, and I kind of need to every day. And I don't know if me needing to take a nap every day has to do with depression or the fact that I'm deep in menopause or the fact that I'm 55 years old or the fact that it's Georgia and it's hot as shit sometimes. I don't know, but I do it. You have to control it with your diet. I do. There is a very long list of shit I can't have. And it seems like, no, that doesn't, what you eat doesn't matter. What you eat matters a lot. I cannot have a burger from McDonald's. I cannot have fast food, period. I can't have it. It does trigger. I can't have that much sugar. I can't have I can't have nights on nights where I work all night and go to bed when the sun comes up, which that is something that I would do. I can't do that. I do have to have a regular bedtime. I do have to have enough sleep. All of these things will not doing these things will trigger me. I'm not someone who says I suffer from depression. I don't suffer from a damn thing. I do live with it. I do live with depression, that is true. But I don't suffer from it. But anyway, this episode, this story time was not intended to be about depression or how I live with it. I just wanted to read some stories from the book. And these stories were some of these stories were stories from my blog from years ago that I pulled out. And there's a cricket in my home. I don't like crawling things in my house. I mean, what the fuck? But that's, but I wanted to read that collection I was reading from is called Deep Down Memory Lane. It is available. It's an ebook. And that's it for us today. It's been fun, y'all. It's been 8 days. I hope that y'all are well. I hope y'all are writing. I hope y'all are creating. And I hope y'all are loving yourselves. Be well, my friends.